Hey everybody, it's Ansel again, and we are back. Today we're going to be having a bit of a chill build, the Frog TKL from GeonWorks. But first, before we get into that, let's take a look at our sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for keyboard prototyping and other electronic needs. While PCBWay does offer PCB fabrication and CNC milling, I just learned that they also offer injection molding. They offer in a wide variety of plastics such as ABS, POM, nylon, polycarb, etc. It's insane. Not only that, but their turnaround time is exceedingly fast, making it ideal for prototypes. Check them out today at PCBWay.com. Now, let's get back to the video. So the Frog TKL comes in a carrying case, which I wish all manufacturers would just do from now on. It's so much more convenient than fancy packaging out of a box. And not only that, but it's also far less wasteful. Now looking at the PCB, I went with the solder PCB this time because it's kind of all they had, but it has a ton of compatibility and it looks beautiful. The only thing is that the USB-C port is on the PCB rather than on a daughter board. So if you ever want to do a custom PCB with lots of flex, this will become an issue. Next is a plate. Oh my God, look at all these flex cuts. Yes, there's a ton of those, but again, the board is not particularly flexible at all. But I would like to believe that this does help give it a little bit of bounce and a tiny bit of softness to the typing experience. Finally, we have the case. This is the F13 Wind keyless version with the purple anodization, and oh my God, it is beautiful. The weight is golden and it is so nice. I can't believe they got brass at this price point. And the anodization, even though it's not like the best anodization, it's really dang close, and it's so much better than a lot of other boards within this price range. It's ridiculous. So for the actual build, I went with some stabies just because I didn't want to deal with any like ticking or anything like that. Now I definitely don't like stabies as much as I like something like TX stabs, but they're still pretty good, and go light with the lube or else you will get some sluggishness. As for the switches, I built this board with Cherry MX Blacks because I love how they sound. I replaced the spring with some 60-gram Sprit double stage springs because I love double stage springs. That snappy return is amazing. And for the spacebar, I went with a black cherry pie using an alpaca bottom, a retooled cherry top, and a cream stem, specifically old stock cream because these have a lot less issues than the new stock creams. Then I soldered this bad boy up, and let me tell you, the fact that this PCB had markings on the underside made this so much easier. I feel like all keyboard designers should just really implement something like this because it makes the whole experience so much nicer and easier. Now for putting the case back together, as you can see, I'm going to put the feet on the keyboard, but that's a stupid move because you actually need to remove them to access the screws that allow the bottom piece to remove itself from the top piece. But these feet are brilliant, they're easy to install, they don't use adhesive, and they cover up any screws, so the bottom of the board ends up looking almost seamless and absolutely clean. Now this board has a very unique assembly. It uses these things called tadpoles. Here I'm using the 30A tadpoles, which are the softest. I went with these because I felt like maybe it might give the board a bit of a softer feeling. Again, the board is still pretty stiff, but regardless, it still feels pretty good, and these tadpoles are super easy to use. I did have to Google how to use them, but again, once you know, it's so fast to assemble, and I absolutely love how Geon went about this. I believe the harder ones tend to sound better, but I'm not too sure. I don't want to make that call. Not to mention, I also removed the tadpole around the spacebar area. My friend Fizz told me that it'll sound much better. Many consider the spacebar to be a weak point in the Frog, but removing that tadpole at the spacebar supposedly makes it sound better. So I went with it, and the spacebar did end up sounding good. Now, is it purely because of that? I don't totally know, but I'm gonna roll with it, and I like how it sounds now. And finally, for the keycaps, I went with GMK Modo Light using the green accents. I thought that this was a beautiful combo, and I thought it used a bit of a tertiary color scheme, you know, because green and purple are part of a tertiary color scheme. I know, kind of nerdy, but it ended up coming out beautiful in my opinion, so whatever, it worked out well. And that's the board. I love this thing, and even though it's not exactly my cup of tea, I still really enjoy using it. Now, let's go on to the sound test, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. So in conclusion, I think the Frog TKL is absolutely amazing. Personally, I prefer it to something like the Mr. Suit from Owl Labs because this just feels so much more refined and a lot more deliberate with its design, and I don't know, I just really like it that much more even if it doesn't feel as good to type on. But regardless, this is a gorgeous board that sounds decent and feels decent to type on. It doesn't do exceedingly well in any department in my opinion, but it does every single department very well. So I see it as a great all-rounder keyboard that I think a lot of people would be happy to call their quote-unquote endgame, despite it being marketed as a budget or entry-level board. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. We're almost at 2K. It's so close. Oh my lord. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Peace.